Hello and welcome to What I Eat in a Day as a Chronic Illness Baddie. This is a Saturday, so it's a rare day where I'm doing my voiceover on the same day as my video. What's good? Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Of course, I had to start off my day with my little coffee and my little cafeteria italiana. If I don't have enough caffeine inside me, I will instantly die. Send tweet. So low-key, you'll see later on in the day, I did not have much left in my fridge at all, so I was just kind of like using what I had. I decided avocado toast and a yogurt with some fruit and stuff in it would be a solid enough meal. I woke up starving. The week that I filmed this, I'd started going back to the gym, and I did one day elliptical, and then on one day I hit 30 minutes on the Sisyphus simulator, the stair machine, for the first time, and like, can't lie, it's weird. My legs feel fine, my core muscles are still sore. Anyway, I'm putting some cinnamon. This fruit was starting to get weird. It was like on the end of its life, so I just ate all of it. I usually wouldn't put this much fruit probably on like 1 cup of yogurt. And yup, you could see I did not fucking feel like it. But I might cut those up with scissors. And I might also put, it was like a dark chocolate with caramel and fleur de sel. Damn, who's screaming out there? Shut up, I'm tired. I'm still filming. You know what? I live in a city. Anyway, then the little coffee pot was ready to go. Now, this was gonna be a fun day. I woke up literally the hungriest I've ever been in my life, so I ate a giant breakfast. For me, this is pretty big. Got my iced coffee together. This cup looks dirty because I'd already been drinking out of it all morning, but like I'd only been drinking out of it for like an hour, you know. Anyway, of course, got my iced coffee. Yo, that was a good avocado. You know what I mean? Sometimes they be funky, but down in Mexico, every avocado is perfect. I remember when I lived in Spain, those were the worst avocados I've ever seen. Europeans do not. The avocado game up there, weak. Anyway, so I was just putting all that together. I decided to put some everything bagel seasoning, and of course, pickled red onions, the only thing that keeps me going in this hell world, on my toast. Now, this was a Saturday. I had some fun plans with my bestie, and I'm gonna take you along. You see how delicious and like gigantic that breakfast was? I was feeling mad luxurious. Queen shit. Oh yeah, and I was listening to a Japanese funk. I'll link it below. I've been really into like Japanese city pop, like 70s and 80s, like funk and rock and whatever. I swear, the second I start filming, like, the whole block got arrested. Like, you hear those sirens and whatnot? Damn. Anyway, this morning, I was listening to my Japanese 80s funk playlist and emailing a seller on Etsy. So my birthday's coming up, and I wanted bone jewelry. So I believe those were like mink jawbone earrings. You know I picked them up. I don't know, I woke up and I just had like a thirst for bone jewelry. While watching this on a black background is making me see how disgusting my computer is. And I desperately need to clean it. I actually picked up 2 things by Von Creep Art. I got these like jawbone earrings, and I got like a BDSM looking like choker with a python vertebrae attached to it. That's gonna be sick. Something I really like about Von Creep Art is that she offers chokers in plus size and straight size. Then I also picked up this up. This is the only one of these that exists. This is like a painted and gem encrusted mink bone pendant. You know, that mink bone doesn't look like the other mink bone. Whatever. I was just in the mood for bones. Then I had plans to meet up with my friend at like a garden and flower festival, but she got mad ADHD. She's always late, so I had plenty of time to watch my YouTube videos. I was watching Dracula, and I was SPFing up and perfuming up, because you know how we do. I'm one of the whitest people I've ever seen, and I don't mean that like I'm not bragging. I think it's what would it be like functionally disadvantageous to like have the skin tone of a deep sea creature on the land, but what do I know? Yeah, then I was like, which of these perfumes do I like? One's Kayali, Utopia Cocoa. I don't really like that one that much. It's like very white floral. The other one is Get a Room from Confessions of a Rebel. It's a beautiful, fresh apple and lightly vanilla scent. One of my favorites in like the hot ass weather, and it is hot here. That's a sodalite bracelet. Sodalite's like a gemstone meant to help writers, and this is a ring I inherited from my biological grandmother, who was funky. This is a ring made out of like pennies and quarters. Then I knew my friend was gonna be hella late, but I'd been up since like 7 a.m. and I didn't want to be in my house anymore. So I headed out to like the flower festival by myself. It was really hard to find. Like we saw it on Instagram and it was like it's on these 3 streets. So I went to the first place where they said it was, and like it was just like a normal park with like tianguis like attached to it, but like nothing crazy going on. So I think my friend was like an hour late or something, so I ended up just like exploring this park by myself, and finally heading over to one of the right locations. So this is actually right next to the flower festival. So in Mexico there's a lot of issues with like violence against women, disappearances. They call it feminicidios, which would just be like femicides in English. And this stuff, protesting all of that, was right next to the flower festival, which was just like, I don't, you'll see something like, I think maybe it's just like a hallmark of like neoliberalism, where like all of these horrible things are like actually happening to women, but then like right next to it there will be like a beautiful park full of jacarandas, which are those blooming purple flowers, and like all these installations talking about like feminine power and celebrating women, while like actual real women are being like completely like destroyed essentially. This was the festival that me and my friend were meeting up at, and it was in Polanco. This is like a super bougie neighborhood in Mexico City. I think I've only been in this neighborhood like once or twice before in my life. Mexico City is literally so gigantic that as an American, there is no city in the US that I think that's even half as big as Mexico City. Like, you cannot comprehend it. So this says, El Jardín del Futuro no es solo un espacio verde, es un ecosistema social, político y regenerativo que responde a los retos actuales de alimentación, salud y vida urbana. It's like the Garden of the Future is not only a green space, it's a social ecosystem, political and regenerative, that responds to like the actual needs of like food, health, and urban life. Un jardinero es siempre un futurista. That's like a gardener is always a futurist. So like, I don't know, man, like it just rings a little hollow for me seeing like installations dedicated to like improving human life, when like I know what's kind of like really going on in a society. I mean, these were cool, and like honestly, a lot of it was like a flower festival, like a lot of the stuff was plastic. This wasn't really my scene. So this is talking, so Mexico has like deep issues with water, largely because Coca-Cola is stealing all of the water, and the beer companies. But like they pretend like you just need to shower less, like other hallmarks of neoliberalism this is talking about. So this was kind of talking about like woman as like a representation of the earth and like connection to the earth, and like a big thing here was how like in olden days they would your cycle and like your feminine power and whatever, and like as a woman I don't really want to hear that shit. Like I don't know, like again, like I know that women are being like violently destroyed globally, so like to see these thing like talking about like it's just like this kind of stuff like kind of rings a little hollow to me when I know what's going on, but they're like inherently nice things to say, but it's like not really what's going on. Do you feel me? I don't know if I'm expressing this right. Like I know you're just supposed to go look at a bunch of like plastic floral installations and like have fun and like not have a crisis about the contradictions and the evils of modern life. Whatever, man. Yo, this is why I can't be left alone. Like, my friend, so, like, she got hella ADHD. So, anytime we're going anywhere, I know she's gonna be, like, at least 45 minutes late or, like, something weird's gonna happen. I didn't hear from her for, like, a half hour, and she hit me up that, like, her phone died. She was stuck in traffic, so I had to leave and, like, find her at a restaurant she was, like, absorbing Wi-Fi from. And then we continued on together. But, while I was having this crisis and while I explored the, like, protest zone, I was just like by myself and I was kind of looking at all these plastic flowers and I'm just like, there's so many horrible things happening on Earth, man. Like, I did fuck with that Venus flytrap though. That's what I mean. I don't know, like maybe I'm just a hater. Like if somebody tells me something is a flower festival, I expect like installations of real flowers and not just like plastic stuff everywhere. Like there was interesting layers of like the hyper reality of everything going on here. It was like giving me like, oh, that says usted es un jardín, como es su jardín. That's like, you are a garden, how is your garden? My garden is incredibly depressed, brother. This was cool though. It was like a maze made out of like plants and pots and whatever. Yeah. El jardín de uno es el jardín del futuro. So that's like a garden of one is the garden of the future. And I'm like, you see what I mean? Like there's a lot of like snappy catchphrases and stuff, but I was like, you said this was a flower festival, and almost all of the flowers are plastic. These were cool, though, like cool little succulents. I do fuck with a succulent. What does that even mean? But yeah, then I went from this thing, and again, like something about Mexico. So like I'm at this like big installation. That's like an abandoned building that was like clausurado. That means that like the government closed that down because it was fucked up. Oh, then my bestie arrived, and yeah, we just walked around and like we looked at like all of the installations. Again, like you'll see it's so I feel like it's more like all of the high-end stores in this bougie street I didn't know exist. They put up like mostly plastic installations, so like people will take like pictures with their branded stuff and then like posts it online. So like I'm doing what they want, and like I don't enjoy doing what a corporation wants me to do, but we're all kind of forced to do that in some manner or other. As you can see, like this really just isn't my kind of scene. Like it was, I like appreciate it on like an artistic and design level, but I'm like, I don't know, like it's a flower and garden festival where almost all of the flowers are plastic and like they're put out front of like Cartier and Louis Vuitton and shit. And again, that's what I'm saying. So like I walked Hermes, so like I walked through this protest and it's honestly generally usually like poor women and indigenous women, because Mexico has like a huge indigenous population. Street was called Edgar Allan Poe, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm an Edgar Allan Poe guy. But, yeah, I'm just like, So like I explored this zone that was kind of blocked off with like cars and stuff. Like they didn't want you to go in there, but like I do what I want. Um, see, that's what I mean. It's like a big installation outside of the Louis Vuitton store. But I'm like, so, I don't know. Just being alive is like such a nightmare where like the poorest women in society are essentially being like hunted for sport and sold into slavery on like a wide scale. But like, you can walk 2 blocks away and like Louis Vuitton and Rolex have like fake flowers everywhere. There was La Costeña. I think that's the brand of pickled jalapenos I buy, so I thought that was pretty cool. I'm not buying, like, Dolce and Gabbana. I didn't even know what some of these brands were. Like, is it Hublot? Hublot? Hublot. That sounds like sexual. Anyway, oh yeah, I know the Creed perfume store. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just walking through that, like, seeing all the stuff up first, like, it just kind of makes you think about, like, how the world works and, like, the cruelties of society. And again, this isn't just, like, I believe this is, like, a general Western world neoliberalism problem. So I'm not telling you that, like, Mexico alone is like a bad place, because it's not. I actually love Mexico a lot, despite the terrifying, blatant contradictions of it and stuff. Anyway, we ran into my bestie made me stop and watch a wedding, even though, like, I don't know, I don't like weddings. Whenever I see 2 people getting married, I feel kind of sad for them. But this Mustang was sick as fuck, and I wanted to try and figure out what year it was, but my friend kept being like, oh, look at the bride, and I'm like, look at this car. Like, imagine fucking in there. I bet it's really not comfortable, and, like, you can't get leverage, but, like, we do things for the aesthetic these days. Anyway, then it was time to get food because I was hangry. So literally there was too many people. It felt like it was 90 degrees. I was having a deep crisis about, like, the world order and the cruelties of man. So I was like, you know what? Put a burger in my mouth. I'm an American. That will numb the pain. This burger was wild, dude. We tried to go to like 3 other restaurants, but like this is a neighborhood where it's like 500 pesos for bland chilaquiles verdes, so like it was a struggle, honestly, but this place fucked. I got a chocolate milkshake, I got onion rings, and I got like the borderline burger, which had onion rings, guacamole, so much stuff on it. It was like absolute fire. I was starving. I hadn't eaten since like 7:30 in the morning, so it really hit, but it did make me feel hella pregnant, as you will see later. But honestly, the key to burgers in Mexico is get the one with the most shit on it possible, because they do crazy combinations of stuff, but you will never get like a nice medium rare burger anywhere. So just let them pile stuff on it. Like, let them cook. Literally let them cook. It's bomb.
You know what's all bomb?
What?
Onion rings or ranch dressing.
Yeah, I feel like you could put ranch on anything and it would be like fire.
True.
Do you know what I used to love when I was like really fucked up all the time in college? I loved the chicken bacon ranch sandwich from Subway. When I was like super stoned, like super drunk, super fucked up, that was like everything to me. That was like, you know how like Gatsby looks at like the green light over the harbor? That sandwich was like my green light over the harbor of like everything. I don't even remember what it symbolized to him, because like I wasn't really that into that book, but like
I loved that book.
Really?
It was I think it symbolized, it was the dock over at Daisy's house across the way.
Oh,
so it kind of symbolized, I think, his kind of love for her or something, or this kind of like something that he'd see but he could never have kind of thing. That's why he'd always have those big parties in hopes of like she would show up to one of his parties. I am Gatsby, and the chicken bacon ranch sandwich is my Daisy. Or it was when I was real fucked up all the time. Yeah, when I stopped like being fucked up all the time, I didn't like it anymore.
And
Interesting.
I knew you couldn't trust the Jared Subway guy.
He's a pedophile too.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's like, I found it out recently.
So while I was out, my other friend messaged me and she wants to make like a pickle cheddar sourdough melt, and she was like, if you make the bread, I'll buy all the other shit. So like I started preparing this loaf for her, but I had that in the fridge for a while. That's why it was covered with hooch, so it'll take a couple days to like be ready to be bread. But you know, literally that, you know, people ask me for shit, I'm like down, you know. So getting my bread together. Honestly, after that lunch, I was so full I couldn't eat for like ever. But yeah, I wanted to tell you my like favorite little perfumes I got. These are for hot weather specifically. I got Yum Pistachio from Kayali. Oh yeah, I was watching an Inga Lamb video, just thinking about my perfumes. Ellis Brooklyn Salt, Cabana Retreat from Skylar. That's discontinued, so I have to get that off eBay. That's Get a Room, which I wore today. And the last one is Book Bold from Commodity. That's like woody and fresh and masculine. I would say Salt is unisex, Cabana and Book are masculine leaning, and Get a Room and Yum are feminine leaning. But any motherfucker can wear any perfume they want, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, then I was decided I wanted to listen to some Thai jazz and bossa nova. I'll link this down. I've been really into like DJ sets on YouTube, and I was reading my book on Brigid. Because, like, honestly, it was so hot. I was, like, wilting, and finally, I think at, like, 6 p.m., I finally, like, it was unhot enough. Remember, there's no AC down here, man. Like, no AC at all. Which usually is fine, but now with global warming, like, we're all just, like, frogs in a pot being boiled to death, so it's nice. Anyway, I really appreciate this book. I read it like 10 years ago, and I'm reading it again now. Then I realized, oh shit, like, it's getting late. Like, I need to take pills, and I need to eat with my pills, otherwise I feel nauseous. But I was deeply not hungry, so I was like, and I have nothing in my fridge either, like, so in my fridge, I managed to find this one boiled egg I forgot about. I think I had like 2 or 3 pieces of cheddar cheese with mustard and literally frozen blueberries. This is like girl dinner. This is barely even a dinner, but if I don't take something with my meds, I feel horribly nauseous. So I was just having that with some ice water, and I'm watching this new perfume reviewer I found. I don't remember her name, but I've only seen like 1 or 2 videos from her ever. But I'll link it below. You know, I always link everything. I got you. Anyway, this is everything that I ate in a day as a chronic illness baddie. After being around all the millions of people in the street, I was becoming evil, so I needed to come home and be alone. So, that was literally all I did for the whole rest of today. But, thanks for watching if you got this far, and catch you in the next one. Bye.